Hi, welcome to my channel. As you can tell, we are in a different location today, and that's because we're doing a homeschool closet declutter, and I'm very excited to show you this video. So we are here so you do not get the big reveal until the end of this video. And if you are new to my channel, I created this channel as a homeschooling resource to do organizational things, which is what we're doing today, to give you curriculum ideas and ways to invite Christ into your homeschool space. So if you're interested in those things, please hit that subscribe button. And let's talk about the closet for just 1 second before we start to declutter it. So it's probably not as big of a mess as some people's closets. That sounded really rude. It's a big mess to me. I'm a little OCD, and so we'll probably open it up and you won't think it's that big of a mess, but I'm a little bit crazy about it, and so it is messy to me. And so I just want to get in there and organize it. I usually organize it a couple times a year, just to make sure we know what we have and what we don't have, and we have our curriculum all switched around and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to be doing, is decluttering this mess that we have made over like the last 6 months, probably since Christmas. And so I'm excited to get it done. I don't know if I like cleaning, but I also like it when it's done, especially when it's tedious and just, it requires time, but I don't know, it's not the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world, do you want to know what it is cleaning blinds. I hate cleaning blinds. It's awful. It's so awful. If you have good suggestions for cleaning blinds, just comment it down below, because that's the worst thing ever. So organizing a homeschool closet is pretty easy compared to cleaning blinds. But sorry, I'm rambling on again and again and again. So we're going to get into this closet. It did take me almost 3 hours to clean it all out. So I'm excited to show you kind of my process and some of my dance moves. They're not super great. I'm not very coordinated, but they're there, so you get to see them. So let's get into it and declutter the closet. Okay, so here is the wall with the closet. As you can see, this is our closet right here. And so before we open the closet, I just wanted to say I'm gonna do some different stuff over here with the calendar. I got a new one. This one's a few years old, but it's from Walmart. It was really cheap, and it's starting to fall apart and falling out of my wall, and I don't want to keep making holes in the wall, so we're gonna try something different. So hopefully that'll be in the mail in a couple days, and so hopefully I'll get to show that in this video. But so I'm gonna fix this and take some stuff down and take down our 100-day of school stickers so that we can start that for next year. And then also with God's animals over here, take some of the animals down and then decide if I want to use this for our world geography next year. We've been using it for our USA geography. I don't know what I'm talking about. This year, from Confessions of a Homeschooler, like Road Trip the USA, I think is what she calls it. And so she has all these animals you can talk about by state. So I'm gonna take this down, or at least take the animals down. I'm not really sure. And we're almost done with the United States, so I'll leave that up for a little bit longer. So there's a few things I'm gonna take down on this wall just to get ready for next year. But we're gonna open this closet up now, and this is what we have. So let me turn the light on for you. So to most people, this probably doesn't seem like a huge mess, but I'm a little OCD, and I have to have things organized most of the time. So I'm just gonna point out a few things in here, and then we'll get to work cleaning it up. So on the bottom shelf down here, I have all my kids' books, and I usually organize them every few weeks just because they do this. They set it on this chair or on the floor, or they just get stacked in. You can see they're just kind of in a mess right there. And so I usually just organize them. We've been trying to teach them, especially our toddler, because she's the one that does it the most, to put them back on the shelf. And then we have a whole bunch of games. So there's games all on this shelf, and then a few down here. So the kids can play these games whenever, and some of them over on this side, usually, they're all kind of a mess right now because they just shove them back in when they're done playing with them. But on this side, we usually keep games we play for game schooling day on Fridays. And then the other stuff is a little bit more like STEM related and not as much game schooling. So we'll try to get that reorganized. And on this shelf around here, so I have some craft supplies. So I just need to, if it'll focus for you, I just need to go through it and see what we need, put stuff where it needs to go. As you can see, there's like some snowflakes back there. So put those away so we don't need them right now. And then this is all of our curriculum books we use. So some of this stuff we're still using and some we're not. So I need to go through and figure that out. And then for our math centers and stuff, I put them over here. As you can see, all of our new curriculum is all just stacked right here because I haven't put it in drawers and found a place for it everywhere else. So, and then we have our reading books for our each unit up here. And so I need to go through and organize those. And then these are a whole bunch of new books I've gotten for this next year. So again, just stuff that gathers over the year. I just need to find a place for it. And then there's construction paper in here. And then again, just extra things that I don't have a place for. So they just kind of get stuck here, and a bunch of craft stuff. So they need a place. The next shelf isn't as dirty. It's hard to see it in this closet. But it just because it's higher, I think that's why it's not so dirty. But again, there's a few things in there, and I just need to organize and go through and make sure we have all the stuff we need for the different things. And on the very top shelf, I keep most of our math stuff. So those are some of their workbooks up there. And then over here, I keep all the centers for math. Well, not all of them. This is not all of them. This is just a few of them, but the ones that we're working through, and then I move them down here when they're actually in that unit. And so I need to go down to my basement and switch all these out because we'll be using second grade still, but this is first grade on this side and we won't need that next year. So I'm going to take you downstairs and at least show you where that stuff is, and then we'll get started. Okay, so this is my dungeon in the basement. Obviously, there's kind of stuff everywhere, you know, some extra toilet paper storage that's in front of all of our homeschool stuff. Eventually, there will be shelves in here, hopefully. I just haven't gotten around to building them yet. So this is all of our math centers, and then there's empty boxes on this side. And then just some extra homeschool stuff and some craft down here. There's some like winter craft stuff and things like that, but mostly they're math centers. So I need to take some of this stuff back upstairs. So kindergarten we'll be using, and I have started the third grade ones, which are right here. They're just not labeled yet. So those will also need to go upstairs. So we're going to start that process, and hopefully it goes well, and hopefully it doesn't take too long to get through everything. Okay, so here I am just taking some books out, getting some stuff out of the closet, picking up a heavy chair. Just kidding, it's not that heavy. And I decided I needed some music. I forgot that I hadn't turned any on. And I usually just listen to Pandora, and I turn it on the Tangled station, like the Disney movie Tangled. And that's what I listen to because I like it. I like listening to Disney music, and it's also appropriate for my kids to listen to. So if they're around, I have never been able to really wear earbuds. My ears are really small, and I just don't like them in my ears, and they always fall out just because I have really teeny ears. I don't know. Anyway, now you guys can't stop looking at my ears. It's all right. So I just organized all the books and put them away, and I do some dancing here, and that's exciting as well. So you guys get to see all my wonderful dance moves as I'm dancing to Frozen, probably. But it's really exciting stuff. So I just keep organizing books, and then we'll move on. When I organize stuff, at least especially in this closet, I like to just go a shelf at a time and take stuff out and then put it back. I know some people would empty the whole closet and put stuff back, but a lot of this stuff is already somewhat organized, so I didn't think it was necessary to pull everything out of the whole closet at one time. So I just kind of go shelf by shelf and do it that way because it's just easier for me. Also, I'm a little bit weird when I organize books. I like to put all the paperback books with each other, with like paperback books, and the hardback books with hardback books, and then the board books with the board books. And I organize them according to height. I wasn't super specific here just because my kids quickly run amok of the books and make them a mess again, but I usually still organize them according to hard, board, and soft back or paperback, I guess. But anyway, I'm just a little bit weird and OCD that way. Okay, so now we're on to the next shelf. I'm gonna pull out all the games well, at least most of them, organize them a little bit, kind of go through and see what we have. I also took some that were in boxes that weren't so nice anymore and tried to put them in better storage bins. And so yeah, that's what we're doing here. And if any of them need a little CPR, then we'll perform CPR in the boxes. We will see that later. And I am starting to run out of room of places to stack things because I'm getting too many things right there where I can easily reach. I didn't want to go too far, so I'm like trying to figure out where to put the life game, not sure where it goes. Some more dance moves for you. I know that they're so exciting and cute. I'm not very coordinated when it comes to dancing. I get that from my father. And there's the Candyland game, and it looks like it has seen better days for sure. It is very much destroyed, so it needs a little TLC, I guess. I said CPR earlier, I guess that works too, but especially if it was Operation, CPR would be a better option, but TLC works for, for this game. So I taped it up as best I could. I don't have things box for it to go into. You know, it's a really long board game. So some of my shorter board games, I might have a different bin they could go into, but this one, that's not the case. So I just taped up the box as best I could, even though I don't know how much longer the game will last and how soon it will be destroyed again, but it is a fun one that my kids can just play by themselves and they enjoy playing. Obviously, you can tell by how ripped up it is. And so I figured I would just tape it up and we'll see how long it lasts. So here is our mess of games. I'm gonna sit down and start going through some of them. Not all of them need to be organized, but there are a few bins that have different types of puzzles in them or different smaller games. I just put all the smaller games into big bins so that they're not all thrown in the closet. So I just have to go through and kind of organize those. My kids stuff them back in, or they don't put them in a bin, so they're all over the place. So that's what we're doing here. We had a little visitor that showed up. There's a few little visitors that make an appearance in this video, and he's dancing to the music too, as you can see. And it's nice to have little visitors around because there were a few moments where I needed help grabbing something and I didn't want to get up. So I am getting old. At least my knees and ankles that have had surgery think I'm very old. So it's nice to have little kids to go grab stuff for me. So I've moved on to the next shelf. I'm pulling out all the craft supplies to kind of go through and see what we have, and also just to organize it a little bit better because stuff gets thrown in there. You know, the kids pull stuff out, I pull stuff out, and it doesn't always get put back in the nicest way. So I'm just going through stuff, trying to consolidate containers and just see what we have and what else we might need. And yeah, that's it. I really like the Ziploc storage containers that you see me pulling out of these storage bins. They are so great for keeping craft supplies. The tops just twist on, and I'll have a link down below in my blog to the different storage devices that I have in here that I really like. So they're just really great. They have a really short one, they have a taller one, and then I also really like the tall containers with the white lids. Those are something I bought off Amazon. I think they come in a pack of 3. And so I use those for taller things that I just don't have space for in the small, like in the Ziploc containers, because I don't think there's a really tall size in those. It's just medium size and a small one. But I really, really love them for storage, and it's great that the lids are just easy to twist on and off, which is nice for my kids when I pull stuff out, if I want them to get into it. If I don't want them to get into it, it's not a good thing. But if I do, it's really easy for even my young kids to twist it open and to play with it, because I also store our math counters and things like that in those kind of containers, so it's really easy for them to open them themselves. And I have some coffee filters here. I do not drink coffee, but we love to use them for crafts. And so I have a bunch of them, because when you need them for a small craft, you end up with a lot of them because they come in a huge pack. So then I have to figure out other crafts to do with them. So if you have ideas of crafts to do with coffee filters, please put them down below. I would love to hear. So these crayons I put in this container, and I'm like determined to get them to fit, and they're just not fitting very well. The lid won't go on. So then I'm having to undo it and try again, you know, because they're all turned every which way. So I'm like, maybe if I flatten them out a little bit better, they'll fit. And so I just keep trying to get them into this container, because I was sick of them being a bag, even though it'll be hard for my kids to get them back in the same way I did. But I just flattened them out. So that was helpful, and now the moment of truth. It works! I was so happy that it worked. So these are the tall containers I was talking about that are from Amazon that come in sets of 3, I believe. And so I have like pipe cleaners in them and really tall, thick popsicle sticks, like the tongue depressor almost looking type. And I can't remember, like you saw me put stickers in one of them earlier. And so I like to use them for that. So they're really good for just taller things that don't fit into smaller containers. So now we're moving on to some of the curriculum stuff that's on that same shelf. And I'm just going through and pulling out what we don't need, and then switching out with stuff that we do need, and getting rid of a few things, and then just putting some stuff down in the basement that we can store down there for right now until we need it, or maybe decide to give it away. I'm not really sure. I was determined to get these All About Reading books to fit in the same bin. It was a little bit of a struggle, but I moved stuff around and got it to work. And these are just a bunch of magazines. Some of the activities that we do, even for letter recognition for young preschoolers, which is the Moffat Girls curriculum. She has the ABC curriculum, and she has them go through magazines and pick out all, you know, like the letter A's they see, and they can cut them out and paste them. So they're practicing a lot of different skills there with ABCs, and then with fine motor skills with having to cut it out and to glue it and stuff like that. So I actually didn't have magazines last year when we started doing that curriculum, so I subscribed to Taste of Home because I loved looking at their magazines when I was younger. My grandma always got the magazines, and so I got those ones, and that's what I have a lot of, but we didn't need as many as I had, so I had to get rid of some of them. These are all of our Atlas Crate pamphlets that I'm keeping since we're doing World Geography this next year. I figured I'd keep them so that we could use them for that and go back, and even though we did sort of the craft type stuff, there's still a lot of activities in the booklets themselves, and so I wanted to keep them so we could go back and do those things when we cover the different countries. So now we're moving on to the next shelf, which had tons and tons of books for this next year, and a few that I needed to take downstairs and put on the bookshelf down there. And so I start going through those and just sorting through them and trying to figure out where everything needs to go. And then I'm trying to figure out, I have all these space books and science books, and my bins are already pretty full right there. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get them to fit. it's a little bit of work because we're going to be doing space and, starting a new science unit that's on earth science. So I had new books for both of those. And so trying to get everything to fit in there is a little bit of a struggle. I have a book addiction. It's a problem. So I'm over here pulling down all these crafts that I gotten from Michael's for my Michael's haul video, which you can check out the link up above. And so I'm pulled all those out and to organize them, and then moved on to the next shelf. And these next two shelves I don't spend as much time on because they're pretty organized. They're up higher, so the kids don't tend to get into them very much and make a mess. But we have like our math counters and some of our science stuff. I keep all the extra glue up there. And so that's what I went through real quick, but it really was real quick. And then I'm on the very top shelf. Again, not very many good images from up there, and I didn't do a whole lot besides switch things around a little and pull down some of the old math curriculum and put new stuff up there. And that was about it. Okay, so we are done. Woohoo! It took about 2.5 hours, I guess, to organize everything, and I'll try to show it as best as I can. So down here, I cleaned up the books and just kept them on the same shelves. They're all clean and the kids can reach them, so that's where I like to keep them. And then I cleaned up all the games and put more of the STEM and puzzles on this side. There's some down here at the bottom as well and up on top of this. And then there's some more puzzles there, a few more STEM type games right here. And then these are all of our games that we use for game schooling. So I kind of organized them. These are more just fun ones. I guess they're still learning games and they have different purposes, but I didn't put them in a specific category. And then this pile right here is more like learning words and spelling and that kind of thing. And then back in this corner is where I put the math. No, that's not the math. That's geography. So that's where I put geography, and there's some science bingo at the very bottom. And then this pile is math. And so those are the games that we have so far. And we are collecting more every chance we get. But so that's where I put all those, and I feel like it looks a lot better than it did. And then the next shelf, I more just organized. The next several shelves weren't super messy, but I just needed to reorganize and pull out old curriculum and put in the new curriculum. So that's what I did here. And so I took out the books that were kind of hogging this shelf over here before, except I'm not focusing over here. I moved them down and put them over here with all of our reading stuff so I can just grab them for my third grader. And then I went through all of our crafts over here and just reorganized them. I didn't do anything super crazy and put a few of the project stuff back there in the corner so I can still see it, but it's not in the way. And then on this side, I still have some of our curriculum stuff. I'm not completely ready for school in the fall, and we're doing some school stuff over the summer. Nothing super intensive, but a little bit. So I haven't put the new math centers over here. I just kept a few things here that we are going to be using next year, but I didn't have a place for them quite yet. And then I left our paper up here, our construction paper, but I do need to get some more, so I noticed that. And then I kind of sorted through the books a little bit and moved all the ones that were just extra and tried to find a place for them. I don't have more black bins like this. I get them off of Amazon. So all my science books for next year, because we're doing earth science, if you can see them there, it goes at focus for you. Except then I put my finger in there and it won't focus. Anyways, they're back there in that corner. So I might get more bins, or I might just leave them there for right now because I don't have a whole lot of space to add another bin. So we'll see. So then I have all these books here that I didn't really do much with. I added a few to this space bin right here because we're going to be doing astronomy with earth science. And so I've gotten some extra books and stickers to do that. And then I just kind of made it look nicer if I could. So those are our books. And up on these shelves, I really hardly did anything. I pulled down these bins and just reorganized them and saw what I had. And then have some more glue coming right there. And then we have geoboard games over here and letters. I keep these up higher just because my kids tend to make a bigger mess with those and with all the rubber bands. So I put them up a little higher so that they can't get to them. And then I switched out some of our math curriculum up here, and then I will put the 3rd grade curriculum right here in this empty spot when I have it done, because it's not done yet. And then most everything else I left the same. I kind of looked through and cleared out a few things, but everything else is basically the same. So that's the closet, and I got some trash out of it. That's a good thing, right? So I have one trash bag and then a few bins that I either got rid of the toys that were in them, or I found a different place to put them since these bins were falling apart, or like this one right here that had all the doll toys in it. It would get in the way and doll pieces would end up everywhere. So I put those in a baggie and put them in a different bin. So that's what those are for. And then I have all this stuff over here that has to be taken downstairs. I have a bookshelf downstairs, so I'll probably put these books right here on the bookshelf that just has some books that we might use eventually, but we're not using right now. And then I'll store some of these bins and then some of the other curriculum stuff as well. And then I had a few extra craft stuff that we didn't do for Valentine's and winter. So I'm gonna put those away and we can use them when those seasons and holidays come around again. So that's what I have so far. I'll show you the walls when I get that done in hopefully a few days. Okay, so here's the wall. It's finished. It took a while to get everything fixed, but it's finally done. So here's the calendar. So one of the reasons it took a long time is because once I took down all the old stuff behind this, the wall had a lot of holes and dents in it. So I filled all those in and then painted it, but I didn't want to hang anything up too soon because then the calendar would just pull it all off the wall. So that's where we're at with that. So I also took down the God's Animals thing over here and touched up that wall as well. And there was this map was over on this wall, so I moved it over here. And then we're almost done with the United States. As you can tell, we only have 2 states left. We can do it. And so this is what the wall looks like. I'm happy with it. The calendar, I think, turned out really nicely. It's kind of shiny. But I laminated all the little circles so they'd last a little longer, and then I put magnets. You can see some of them down here, just so it was easy for my kids to switch it out. And then I put our summer schedule up here, and then some sign language stuff for them because they're doing that this summer to help them remember and things like that. And I'm still unsure if I'm going to put our 100 days of school kind of below it, and we had the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put those things up. Still undecided on that. But overall, I'm happy how it turned out. And then this little bin down here is always there, but I just switch it out with what we're working on that week. And then it always has our history and our geography in it as well. So that's the wall and the closet. And I think it all turned out great. So that was our homeschool closet declutter. I think everything went well overall, and it looks a lot better now, and I really enjoy how the wall and the calendar all turned out. So if you enjoy seeing these types of videos, please give me a thumbs up. I don't have a ton of stuff to declutter because I like keeping stuff clean, but I'm willing to try to find something else I can show you. And we will see you next time.